Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. As always, there's about 6 albums to go through, so I'm going to go through the 6 albums now. And we begin with what is quite possibly the obligatory debut. We have Babysit with their debut album titled BS, which is kind of hilarious to me. I'm giving this one an A. Yeah, we're off to a really fucking good start. This is I thought they were a duo initially because the main members are sisters. I do have them written down, Veronica and Jess Pell, who are, this is a band from London. I thought it was just those two, but there is two other band members, one of which plays guitar, the other plays drums. Veronica and Jess, between them, they both do vocals, one plays guitar, the other plays bass. Yeah, this is really good instrumentation, though, really good sort of like punk rock leaning hard rock sort of album, I will say. Really good lyrics about like empowerment, and yeah, just really liked their honesty with this one. The riffs are really solid as well. I like the nice poppy melodies that mix into. The production's pretty good, handled by, and again, have them written down here, Patch Boschel and Stephen Patel. A really good mix all in all, very organic feeling, doesn't overpower anything at all. And overall solid pacing, even though it's a very short album, I would say maybe the pacing is my biggest problem with it, because it's just over 20 minutes, but like, they get a lot done in 20 minutes and 7 songs. You know, I do wish that they did put out that they did have more to go off of, but for what they do have on it, I think it does a really good job. Next up, we're staying in England for a band not debuting, a band named Black Foxes, and their newest album titled The Har, the Haar. This is sort of an indie rock band, sort of in the HMLTD vibe, I guess you could say. Giving this one a B plus. I thought it was really solid for what it is. Nice instrumentation. I like that there's a lot of piano on this one, to couple with the really solid indie slash alt rock leaning guitar and bass and drums too. A tad shoegazy. I wish they worked in more shoegazy stuff, but it's nice to hear here and there in the album. I do like the lyrics. Very personal about things like self harm and mental health, based on the frontman's personal experiences with those things. And my main issue might also kind of be the lyrics, even though they might be my favorite thing, because they don't feel prominent and half the tracks feel instrumental, and there's a lot of really long build up that doesn't feel like it goes anywhere. It can sort of loop itself into a corner. But overall, I think the production's solid enough, you know. It does maybe feel a bit overbearing, and it'd be nice to hear the band, but when you do get to hear them, it is quite pleasant. I think the band themselves do a really good job, especially lead singer Mark Harley, who delivers really well in the experiences he's gone through. Like, he lives up to the writing quality that he puts out. And yeah, good riffs, mostly decent pacing. I think my favourite song is the last one, which is weird because it's 10 minutes long, but it's probably the best song on the album, and ironically wastes the least time, I would say, but still really solid for a band. I think this is their first album in 5 years as well, I could be wrong. And they could have done a lot worse considering this is my first album from them. I was surprised at how unwanky and unpretentious it felt, considering how it really could have gone that route, but it just sort of feels a bit too time-wasting in some other areas. I still did like it enough though. Next we have Combust with their album Belly of the Beast. This is a hardcore punk band, well, more just hardcore band from New York, and as I've written here, they are so New York hardcore, they have a song titled NYHC on this very fucking album, and I'm giving this one an A as well. Yeah, it was a good week for music this week, at least the stuff I listened to. Yeah, this was incredibly heavy stuff, straightforward to the point. I like that it feels like a throwback to an older era of hardcore, which is weird because this is only their second album. This is not a band that's been around that long, but they deliver in terms of the riff, like the guitar tones are great. I will say the production on this thing is surprisingly organic and clean. I love how natural it felt, like the tone of the bass especially. I don't know if that's the mix or just the way it was put together, but it sounds fucking amazing. Drums are great too. I wish I knew more about the band members. The only name I could find was the lead singer Andrew Vacante. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's Vacante, but he does a really good job. He's got like a solid voice for this style of hardcore. I do like the lyrics covering themes of hypocrisy and staying true to yourself and staying hopeful in the face of like societal collapse. Really good stuff there. And yeah, good band chemistry, solid riffs, really good production, solid pacing as well. It doesn't mix things up too much, I will grant, but it doesn't really need to. Like, it just punches over and over again, and it's a lot smarter than you'd think it would be. You know, it's just really nicely put together hardcore. And I like a good bit of well put together hardcore, especially from a part of America that does the style well. I mean, it's a state that has a style of hardcore named after it, and if you're going to do it, you may as well do it right, and Combust do. Next, we have a band called Destruction and their new album Birth of Malice. This is a band from Germany. This is a thrashy speed metal band. I'm giving this one an A-. I thought this was a whole hell of a lot of fun. And yeah, if you're going to be considered one of the big four of German metal, that's a pretty big fucking ass. This is a band that's been around since the early 80s. I think 1982 was the exact year that they formed. And they spent like pretty much the first half of their career without a label, which is kind of a brass as balls move. I won't lie, kind of badass. But like, obviously it's been 24 years since, well, 25 years since then. And yeah, really good overall. It was produced partially by the band alongside someone named Vio Pulver, and probably the longest. Yeah, I think it might be the longest album of last week. Hang on, let me double check. No, second longest. Black Fox's one is longest. But I like this one quite a lot. It's got some really solid riffs. I like the guitar solos. It's just like furious and fun and fast and heavy as shit. Really enjoy it. I like the lyrics as well. I like these sort of political leans of selfishness and political human error and things like that. And they're written with a lot of vitriol, and the band to deliver that. Of course, being a German metal band, you kind of have to be able to do that right, and this band does do that right. Band themselves perform really well, even though, to my knowledge, they've changed members quite a lot. The new guitarists on this one, named Demir Eskik and Martin Furia, who is also one of the producers on the album, shred shit the fuck up. Really solid pacing as well. It can feel maybe a little bit samey, and also it ends with a cover song. But besides that, solid all in all, and yeah, really good production as well. Very, very clean. You know, came out quite well. Sounds loud, sounds big, sounds heavy as shit. So if you just like your thrash metal to be heavy shit with really good riffs, pretty good writing, and yeah, a band that can absolutely deliver. Can recommend. Next up, we have Jason Isbell and his new album Foxes in the Snow. Now, this is Jason Isbell without his 400 units, wink wink nudge nudge, for the first time since 2007. And there's a reason for that, because I don't really know. I think the band might have unofficially broken up, but this album's themes are inspired by that, as well as the divorce from his wife and the relationship with his new partner, who, fun fact, designed the cover for this album. I'm gonna give this one an A+, though I really like this one a lot more than I thought I would. I think my main issue with the band's last album, as much as I did enjoy it, it was of a genre I was still very much finding my feet with. I listened to my fair share of good country, but I wasn't super into like folky Americana stuff, right? It was still something I was finding, trying to find a more comfortable pace with, you know? And I think just Jason being on his own, playing an acoustic guitar, singing honestly about the shit he's gone through in the past couple of years, yeah, no, I think that does quite a bit for me. His performance is really good. Solid acoustic guitar stuff as well. I love the melody and the honesty that's brought through it. I think like this might be one of the most honest releases of the year, because Jason is ultimately going through a fair bit of pain. I can't deny that, but he's looking forward to the future of it, because again, he's in a new relationship and he's trying to look forward to what's to come next, you know? And that's a really good, like, main concept for this album. And it almost feels like a concept album because of the storytelling that Jason is able to do, and always has been able to do, to my knowledge. I really like the production and how much of it lets the album just breathe and let it be itself. Again, Jason's performance is really good. Really good lyrics. Really good pacing as well. It can sort of lose a bit of steam near the end of the album, I will admit. Like, the past couple of songs maybe aren't as strong as mostly the rest of the album, but still solid stuff. Yeah, really good storytelling, really good performance, really good pretty much fucking everywhere. I like the production, I like performances, good lyrics, good mix as well, and Jason kills it. So yeah, I might be more of a Jason Isbell fan now. And finally, we're gonna enter a bit of discourse, as it is Spiritbox with their second album, Tsunami Sea. For those worrying about Whitechapel's album, I think that's something I've got on my listening list for next week, because I felt like this album was probably a bit more important to cover, and I'm giving this one a B+. I didn't like this one as much as I liked their debut, although to be fair, as much as I did enjoy the debut, I wasn't as crazy about it as most other people were, and I feel like my reaction to their sophomore effort is basically the same. Like, I will admit, Spiritbox makes some really technically impressive stuff. It's really heavy. It's got like this bit of graceful melody undercurrent going through it. You know, really solid themes for the most part. Let's see, what did I have as themes? Yeah, on this one particularly, expectations and the turmoil that comes when you don't live up to them. That's really good stuff, but it feels a bit unclear to me. And I feel like the production overdoes things. Riffs are pretty good, and the band do a really good job for the most part. I can't knock their chemistry, and Courtney Plant is a really good singer. I feel like the production buries her voice a little bit though, and it's kind of a shame. But they also don't really take that many risks. A lot of people have been comparing this to the last one in terms of like their tendency to push boundaries, and they don't really. It doesn't really feel like they do that. There's like a couple of cleaner songs, maybe one of which is actually my favorite song on this album, which is like first half clean, second half heavy. The build to it is really good. But my main problem with this album and the previous album, and with Spiritbox as a band, I would say, is while they put together technically impressive heavy stuff, I just don't care. They don't, like... I care enough to give it a B+, because, like, obviously I realize the potential is there. But my hugest issue is that this band wants to have an identity, but it feels like they need to really push it a lot further and realize who they are. It just really feels like they're just another modern day metalcore band with a bit of genty goodness, And it doesn't live up to the expectations that other people put on the band, which I guess technically might make this the album of the year because it's honest about that in that regard, but I want this band to really find themselves at some point, and to me they're a bit lost in the shuffle, but I think I'm being nice to them out of obligation, really. I think that's why I put this album on this list for my for last week, but I still can't fault the talent that they do have. I really want them to fucking go in, though. It's taken them all to find their fate, but maybe they could pull a Stand Atlantic and do what that band did last year. Finally find themselves and just say fuck it and go as all out as they can. I want Spiritbox to do that. So on the off chance that they're watching, which I know they're not, and on the off chance of any like Spiritbox fans watching, I don't hate the band. I just haven't been given a reason to care. And I want to. And I think them stepping shit up on their next album, that's going to give me the reason to care. I hope. And that'll be it. I'll go through favourite song and favourite cover. Favourite cover goes to Jason Isbell's Foxes in the Snow. Mostly because I like the fact that it was designed by his partner at the time, and, his partner currently. Favourite song goes to Everyone's Enemy from Combust's Belly of the Beast, though, where I really like the themes focusing on people who are introverted. And I can relate to it for some fucking reason. And it's also just a really good anthem, and it's motivating in a weird way. Next is the, because it's only lent over 2 pages on my OneDrive, is the listening list for next week. So we have 3 bands beginning with Letter C. We have Coheed and Cambria with Vaxasac 3, The Father of Make Believe, Courting with And Bear With Me, there's a long ass album title, Lustful Life or How to Thread the Needle and Come Out the Other Side to Tell the Story, Clipping with Dead Channel Sky, Static Alone with Better Living Through Static Vision, Stephen Wilson with The Overview, and Whitechapel with Hymns and Dissonance. I did say it would be next week. Or, well, tomorrow. Although I'll be reviewing it next week, is my point. Still, that's what I got on for tomorrow. And that will do it from me, and God willing, I will hopefully be able to get Yakuza 6 finished before Saturday at the very least, because I really want to get to streaming my next Let's Play, which should be Yakuza Like a Dragon, but there's no PBW versus ABW this week because War of Attrition was last week, so, always take a week after those, so, yeah, you'll probably see me on Saturday. So that's about all I can think of to promote, so I'll see you all probably on Saturday. And hopefully tomorrow if I can get a rush order done on Yakuza 6, but we'll find out. As always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye bye.